Hey, Doug, I'm still here for Doc Sports, and I'm back to talk golf. Yeah, ready to go. Little golf action. Just a quick background. Yours truly, before and well, transitioned. Okay, probably would be the best word to use. Transitioned to sports handicapping and sports betting. That came from the evolution of golf. Okay, I was in the golf business for 20 plus years back in the Midwest, and the Milwaukee specifically, and ended up ran a five-store golf chain for a number of years. Started off in a really small little. It was called the Golf Shack, okay, but literally was the store that I ran at the time was just it was a little place, okay, but we did a lot of volume out of there, and so it was a lot of fun. Okay, especially back in the early days of doing that. So anyways, so that's kind of where my background's from. Milwaukee used to have the Greater Milwaukee Open, so I got to meet and change grips and do some other stuff for professional golfers when they came through town and stuff. So it was a good experience and kind of solidified. And but a big part of golf, of course, is betting. Okay, a lot of golfers like to bet when they're playing. They like to they like to participate in a lot of other different sports, and that kind of pushed the ball along for me. Okay, quite literally in that sense. So we're going to talk about golf. Hopefully, we can keep this maybe make this a weekly feature. We'll see. But we're going to start it and get the ball rolling. Got the Sony Open, used to be known as the Hawaii Open this week. Now the Tournament Champions was last week, and Cameron Smith won that event by beating John Rahm by one stroke. And several players, not all of them, stuck around to come to the Sony Open in Hawaii. Now, this will be the first full-fledged tournament of 2022. And for those that are unfamiliar, the actual golf season starts either late September or early October. So basically, it almost ends one week and starts the next. Okay. Now, obviously, those are pretty primarily just on the Golf Channel. All of those, the ones that you're used to seeing. Okay. For example, which will be starting next week, I believe, or maybe it might be 2 weeks on quote unquote network TV. It's a different deal. That's how the season used to be. It's no longer the case that way. So for the Sony Open, the Kevin Na is the defending champion. He shot 21 under over his 4 days. And the PGA Tour, my thoughts on the PGA Tour aren't maybe the same as everybody else. Not quite as let's just say enthusiastic about how things are run. Okay, as some others. If you watch some other videos about as to what goes on, I think the scores are ridiculously low, like 34 under winning last week with a course that has a pretty simple, easy course with a par of 73. Um, you know, but that's what it is. Okay, so I can complain all I want about it. The fact of the matter is that's what it is. This week, so since 2013, the average score at Waialae Country Club has been roughly 20 under. Okay, is the winning score on that, which is obviously commonplace in today's PGA, as they have acquiesced to the players and trying to make them all look like superstars. Okay, whether they are or not. I'm not saying they're not talented. I'm not saying hitting a golf ball is easy. It's super hard. Okay, to become a competitive player. Okay, so no question about that. So what do we got going on this week? Well, Cameron Smith, like I say, he won and he has the best odds. Last I looked, he was plus 1,000. Okay, to win the tournament. I'm not much of let's say a better for winning tournaments. Okay, and I don't do daily head to head. It's just never been my thing. So I've more work on head to heads either for the tournament or trying to find other elements, for example, top fives, top tens, top 20s. Okay, so that's more of what I do. Cameron Smith, like I said, he won last week, and he actually won this tournament in 2020. He's second in scoring average, third in birdie average overall on the tour. Here's the question, though, I have about him. Okay, besides having low odds, is can he stay locked in for 4 days again? Good question, right? Okay, on him. Sung J M, he is. He's been tough. Okay, he's been tough since he's actually been on the tour. So far this year, three top tens and in five starts this year. He won the Shriners back in late October, or in October, I shouldn't say late October, and So he's another player. One guy that's not getting, let's just say from a betting standpoint, not getting as much run because he didn't have as good a year last year as he had previously was Webb Simpson. However, in this tournament, hard to not at least give him some consideration because he's played in this tournament 11 times and he's finished in the top 10 11 times. Okay, so that's pretty good stuff there. Um, another guy that's a pretty good favorite, and I'd say probably more of a betting favorite than in terms of what things that I've looked at, anyways, and have followed. I'd say there's a lot of money on him for more sharp action. Is Mark Lehman. Um, the he in his last or since the season started. Okay, he's had four top 20s in five of five tries. Okay, so he's been quite good. And in this tournament, he has two top fives in his last three appearances. So he's another one to keep an eye on. Two other players that are among the favorites. Obviously, Kevin Na is the defending champion. He figures to be in there. It's not easy to repeat. Okay, if you follow golf tournaments, you don't get a lot of back-to-back winners. It happens, but it's pretty rare. Okay, but it's a type of golf course he can do well at, and obviously he proved that last year. It's not a long hitter, anything like that. Taylor Gooch and Kevin Kistner are both highly thought of coming into this tournament for different reasons, and the opinions seem to be split. So the people that like Gooch do not like Kistner, and vice versa. Okay, on this. Now, what about the golf course? Here's the thing: Wildlife Country Club been the has been the host course since 1965. That's the fourth oldest. Okay, the only year I forget the year. I want to say like 1980 or right around in there. It did not host it because there was no Hawaii Open that year. Okay, but this is a classic old golf course. It's only a little over 7,000 yards. Has narrow fairways, small greens. That's how golf courses were made back then. Okay, primarily, and it's landlocked, so they don't have the ability to make it larger. It's not a long hitters golf course, that's for sure. The rough though is not long, so there's no penalty for not keeping it on the fairway from that standpoint. Par fours. Nothing special. Okay, they're pretty, especially by tour standards, pretty short. Par fives are pretty short. You'll see a lot of scores, and in fact, you'll see also a lot of eagles. Okay, on this course because over the last several years, it's rough on average. It's been about the 10th easiest golf course to get an eagle on. Okay, of the different places that they play on tour. So you'll see some low scores and you'll see scores fluctuate quite a bit, things going up and down. What types of players can win this? Well, you have to, obviously, if you hit it in the fairway and then you get better angles to knock down the pins, that's a plus. From that standpoint, the wind, this golf course doesn't have many things that it can do to work against the players, and the wind is not supposed to be a factor here. So guys then can hit approach shots that are real high, okay, and then they settle. Okay, so they can go after the pins then because of that. And in terms of the actual greens by tour standards, to tell you the truth, they're pretty slow. Okay, all things considered, for most people, they'd be really fast, but they're pretty slow. And so with that, the more skilled putter has no advantage because with the slower greens, that kind of brings everybody into the mix. So a person or players that can hit, irons on top of the pins and at least get close, okay, they'll have the best chance because even if they're not a great putter, okay, they can still make enough putts because let's face it, for the most part, every week it is a putting contest, especially how they set these golf courses up for the most part. There's less skill in let's say, hitting the ball into certain areas, okay, from that standpoint. So what are we looking at here? Well, I'm going to give you free picks. Okay, so that's one of the things I'm here to do is to, besides explaining what's going on, is to give you some free picks. And for this, I will. This will not be counted as let's put this way. I'm gonna keep a separate record for just these golf videos of my picks. Okay, they're not gonna be included anywhere else. This separate entity on the values, and every pick I'm gonna give you is based on one unit. Okay, so just keep that in mind on that one. So who am I going to take? Well, I mentioned a few names, and one of the names I mentioned was Sung J M, and I'm going to take him for a top 10 finish. Okay, his current odds at one of the sites I looked at was plus 135. So I got him for a top 10 finish, and then also Taylor Gooch for a top 20 finish. He is plus 130 for a top 20 finish. So those are my free plays. Now, my own personal plays at Docs, I have 4 picks up right now for that you can purchase for just $30 at Doc Sports and at Doc Sports on the Doug Upstone page. So check those out if you'd like. Okay, if you're interested in golf, okay, I'm doing the work. Okay, don't have to know everything there is to know about golf. Okay, from that standpoint, that's up to me to know. Okay, so that's pretty much about it. Now, I did want to say before I forget is that part of the whole golf deal, okay, just in general, is when you go to the back of your closet and you bring out old golf shirts like this one. So I specifically wore this one on purpose just to set the right tone, okay? Because that's part of the golf thing is wearing bad clothes, okay? Is that, or in some cases, ugly clothes or old clothes or whatever. You see that literally every time you go to any golf course or even just walking or driving by a golf course. So just having a little fun with that too. So that's everything for this week. So I say I'm not a head-to-head player in terms of daily. Some other guys at Doc Sports do that, so you can check that out if you so choose. So this is Doug Upstone. There's our first golf video for this upcoming week. I'll be back next week with another one. Okay, and we'll do it up again. Until then, it's Doug Upstone for Doc Sports. I'm out.